I will share my screen now to make you understand methods of training, because we have two, on the job and off the job. Don't get confused here, because now the both on the job and off the job are mixed, because everything is happening online. So what you need to understand is what are different types of training. That's it. Okay, don't get confused between on the job and off the job, being I have divided them as per my presentation, that what is kept in the on the job training and what is kept in the off the job training. I've kept it different, but you don't get confused, because in the current situation they are all same. Everything is happening online only, and everything is on the job situation. Nothing is off the job. Okay, or everything is off the job and nothing is on the job. You can take it anyway. So yes. Okay, coming to the on the job, we'll go one by one to make you understand. Internship and apprenticeship. Internship is we all connected together in a space, and you're learning different things, and I'm connected to you. Apprenticeship is when one of you are working under me. So internship is I'm teaching you everything step by step, and then giving me assignments. In apprenticeship, it will completely change. What would happen is I'll give you work first. I'll give you the notes, that this is where you can find things. You have to read it, you have to find the answer, and then I'll give you the feedback. Okay, this is how things work. So things changes in internship and apprenticeship. Internship is 1:2 team. Apprenticeship will always be 1:1. That's how things work. Okay, now comes coaching. Coaching is again 1:1, but with apprenticeship and coaching, the difference would be, with coaching you'll be majorly of a student experience. So when you're talking about a coached on something which you will need to work on, okay, more of a student experience. Apprenticeship will more of a professional experience. So only the experience changes between apprenticeship and coaching, but things remain same. Job rotation is an interesting one. Okay. Anyone? I just want to ask. I hope everyone has gone to bank and submitted money or credited or debited money. Yes. Is there anyone who has never gone? Never. I'll make you laugh with this situation. Trust me. Everyone has laughed. I hope you also laugh here. When you go to this person, and I'm not sure if have you noticed, it has always happened to me, always, that if I'm going to credit or debit the money, and that person who is sitting at this, the teller, the bank teller who is actually submitting my check or submitting my money and everything, they will never smile. I don't know why they never smile.
The person who always dealing with cash will never smile, ma'am.
I'm so sad looking at them, okay? Like, you're getting so much money in a day. You should smile.
They never do, ma'am.
And that's so sad. That's why job rotation comes up. That's where this training comes up. What happens is, obviously, when they're not smiling, they want to have that world. Now let's go. Have you seen people who actually assist you in opening the accounts? They're all smiling. They are so chirpy that I'm sometimes like, can you please just give me what I need?
You'll probably go to open one account and end up opening 4 accounts.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That's how things happen in banks. It happens in different sectors also. And it happens in colleges as well. No matter what vertical you go. Why did I give this example? To make you understand in a fun way. So people who are working in job teller, they are transferred to the place where they can work in accounts, and the same way they're transferred there to keep their energy shifting. So it doesn't get monotonous and unchallenging. It's not repetitive, so they don't get demotivated. So when they have to keep their high energy, they don't get into burnout, so they can just go to keeping themselves calm and just doing regular things. And when they're bored of that, only that regular things, they can come to that high energy of making people talk. So that's how job rotation happens, and people get trained as well in this situation. Okay, committee assignments are majorly when organizations have to do something out of the box. So for example, we want to plan, all of us together want to plan something for Counsel India. Okay, we will be completing, I think, on 9th and 10th as our batch. So with that, we want to plan something for Counsel India, and we connect and we're like, let's plan something, like each one of you bring, gratitude for Counsel India. So this will be a committee assignment where we'll be talking like every week that what can we do, ma'am? Is this a good idea? Or is this a good idea? Shall I do this? Shall I do that? And we'll be working together saying yes, no, maybe, and that's how things would work. And we'll come for a result that, okay, this is what we offer to Council India. Temporary promotions. How many of you watch Bollywood movies? Anyone does remember Bollywood movies which connects to temporary promotions? I can give you the hint of the actor. I don't watch Bollywood movies. I only know because of this. That movie which talks about, which has Anil Kapoor in it, which has temporary promotion. For one day. Nothing, it has Rani Mukherjee as well. Think about Anil Kapoor who got 1 day promotion and then he had to.
Remember the name, but it was, I think, related to he becoming PM, right?
Good girl. Yes.
And the girl is from the village. That I don't remember the movie, ma'am.
Okay. Dishda, you remember the whole story, but you don't remember the movie, right?
Yes.
The movie's name is Nayak.
Yes.
Yes. That is a temporary promotion.
Yes, ma'am. In Tamil, it was named as Mudalvan.
That word is very difficult to pronounce for me. I'll not play there.
Okay, Mudalvan.
Mughal one. Did I?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I have got a good one today. Yes, I did a great job in pronouncing. I'm very scared of pronouncing names wrong. Very scared. That's where my phobia comes. I usually ask people, am I pronouncing your name right? Tell me. Okay. Now with temporary promotions, how we can do with organization? Anyone looking for, anyone getting, is about to get promoted. So what you do is rather than putting an IGP, it majorly goes for internal job promotions or transfers. Rather than putting them for IGP and making them go for interview, we give them little work to see how they would perform. So for example, let's say that I want to promote Supriya as an educator in the next class. So what I would do is I'll ask Supriya that what do you think this word means? And I'll make her do that. Okay, this is what you are explaining me. I'm giving you 10 minutes, go through this topic, learn through that, Google it and learn through that and give me back and team that what do you understand? You are the one who will train on this topic. So I'm giving her temporary promotion. Okay, that's how this works. Now coming to our off the job. When we talk off the job, special curriculum and classes, conferences and seminars, everything I've come to this Google Zoom, Meet, Zoom and Microsoft Teams. We'll just understand what are the different methods. Lecture method, we are the one who are doing it right now. I'm giving a lecture on training and development. And with that, it is happening on audio visual. So when I show you YouTube videos or any audio, that becomes audio. Visual is this PPT. Okay. Coming to case study method, where let's take up an example. When I ask you about it, how these things happen, like what would you really recommend to someone when he's suffering from burnout and kind of a situation? That would be a case study. I give you a situation and ask you what could be the solution for it. Okay. Like when I asked you, the case study could be when I made you do this research on your favorite tea coffee model. That was another case study you did. Okay. So that's how the case studies work. It is in two forms. One is a comprehensive form, like you have a comprehension, you read it through and you answer it. Another is doing little researches, like what we have been doing as assignments. Okay. Role-playing method. Role-playing method is that you are given a topic and you need to role play it. So when we talk about employees, they have to understand, especially done in HR and majorly in that space. So when they have to understand how hiring and firing happens. Role-playing can also happen for the sales and marketing, where they have to understand how to take care of an irritated customer. So there will be two people. One would act as an irritated customer. One would act as a person who is handling that irritated customer. And they will show this is how we handle. Same goes for hiring and firing also. So they're hiring someone who will act as the person who is the interviewee. The second person acts as an interviewer and they understand how the process works. Again, understanding how employee-supervisor relationship. So you can role play on a lot of things and make, employees, make the trainees understand the situation in a fun and interactive manner. Okay. Coming to instant analysis method. Instant analysis method is the one where you're given an incident and this instant analysis analysis method is not only used here, for the training, it is also used for recruitment selection also. What was the incident analysis method used in structured interview? Can anyone remember from yesterday? There are two kind of questions used. Where was the incident analysis method used? Our customer visits the watch store, very irritated. You remember that example from yesterday evening?
Watch.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everyone got caught. Okay, everyone got caught. That ma'am we slept in the class. Yes, we completely forgot. That was in the sight, in mind. It has not been 24 hours of that example also. Okay, it happened after the break. So yes, because selection happened after the break. हाँ, सबको पिटाई पड़ेगी. काउंसिल इंडिया है क्या यहाँ पे? बताया जाए. हाँ, चले गया. थे तो अभी, बट चले गए. बच गए तुम लोग सब. Okay, that's how incident analysis method happens. You're given an incident and you have to analyze it that according to you, what does it will bring as a situation. Okay, so in the yesterday we gave the situational questions that if you're in this situation, how would you actually, handle that customer? So in the same incident, we can do is if anyone is like, for example, you're working in a team and your manager comes that you have done something wrong and accidentally used an abusive word. How would you respond to that situation? How would you make sure that everything is calm, but you still want to, voice it out that your manager has done wrong? Because using an abusive word is not right. Using something which is, related to caste, creed, culture is not right. So using something which is not right, well, how would you handle that? How would you make sure that you maintain the decorum of the whole professional team, but you still voice it out? So that would be an instant analysis method to train employees that how to, respond. We're coming to simulation. Simulation and vestibule training is very similar. The only difference here is in simulation, you're more of, it's a high skill training. Vestibule is done for semi-skilled people. Okay. So talking about simulation, have you watched any 3D, 4D movies? I hope everyone has. Yes, 3D, 4D movies, at least 3D, kind of situation. Yes. So when we talk about this flight and Navy people, they are the ones who actually use simulation for, their training, majorly aeronautical industry and the Navy industry. So we're not talking about only the Army people, we're also talking about the merchant people also. Okay, the merchant Navy also, and when we talk about aeronautical, the flights which we take. Okay. So both uses simulation because obviously they cannot train people giving them, the ship or the jet planes and airplanes. So what they do is they create a situation where they can, wear that VR, virtual reality specs, and they feel that yes, they are flying or they are, using the boat and Navy things. According to that, boat and ships. According to that, they would be given different situation and see that how they would actually handle it. So it will start from the basic operational training, that how you need to, fly, how you need to start a flight, how you need to start a ship, and you'll go again and again into, deeper meanings that how you would handle difficult situation also. So everything is done through simulation. But when it comes to good thing, that obviously it saves, it is a fun and interactive way. The one thing where is a challenge with simulation is because the way technology is updating themselves and the way airplanes and the ships are updating their technology also. Not only our phones, laptops are updating, they are also updating their technology. It is growing day by day. Same goes for Navy too, it is growing day by day. So according to that, we need to bring that technology into simulation also. It is very costly to upgrade it up. And that's how things happen. As I said, simulation is for high skilled and vestibule training is for semi-skilled. I'm sure every one of you have gone to repair your mobile through an outer site rather than just going to the service stores where the people actually open your phone and, repair it. They are the ones who are actually trained on vestibule because they're trained on how to put that chip and put the right thing in right way. Think about the chip is so small. Have you ever seen that your phone's chip, especially the iPhones? It is too small. I cannot see which circuit is which. If I really have to do it, I'll make sure that I'll kill my iPhone there and then. But they know, being they're not, that educated what we are, they might not have knowledge of, English, bio, math, social science, but they're trained in what they're doing. They're the semi-skilled people, but they know where to put that high energy, very hot semiconductor thing on that point to make sure that your phone starts working. Where they have to put that small, speaker, which is very, very thin wire that if you put just a more amount of energy, like just a speck more amount of energy, it will break. But they know how much to put energy. That's how they are trained in vestibule. So that, that's another place where they're trained by showing, making them go through rather than giving them the space. So either they're trained on showing it, giving them that experience, or they're shown it like already, broken phones which are not used at all. So kind of those things. Okay, that's why it is used in semi-skill, not that thing. Coming to management games. I think you were all on the first day, right? With me. What is a management game we played?
You had a name in mind, ask questions as a group.
Yes. So that was a management game which we can use in training method also for a product training or something. Okay. One management game I'll tell you today, not playing it out. I'm sure everyone, I'll tell you two. One is obviously, as per you play Monopoly, you can arrange them together. As Monopoly talks about that, how does business runs or how does government runs, in the same way, you can make sure keeping our, your organization as a process. If anyone makes a wrong choice there, they end up in jail or they end up with no money. If they make right choice, they get a promotion, they get a growth, they get an incentive. So this is how management games are designed. One game I do with my team also is question. So what I do is that and I usually use this for feedback. So for example, I want all of yours feedback. How would I start with this? That I'll make sure that I'll start a question that how do you feel, Supriya, related to me with you as your facilitator? You cannot answer me back. You cannot, question me back. You need to question someone else in a related with, how do you feel? So for example, you ask Kritika, do you feel happy in this 1 hour? So Kritika can also not answer you. She cannot use any statement. She has to again use a question only. By doing this exercise, because everyone will be questioning another person, you will be able to get everyone's view. And keeping strong boundaries around it, it will be a fun one, but you will be able to understand what is your review, what is your feedback. Because sooner or later, they will get into hang of the game, and to win the game, they will make sure that they actually put questions and, you will get what you wanted in a fun and interactive way. That's another way you can put anything else. It's just I gave you an example, which I use for review and feedback rather than asking them, how do you feel? I put this question round and it works amazing. It works amazing because they get into that fun way. And I really like it. Everyone is enjoying and they're telling me that where did I go wrong and where did I go right? Best. Then comes programmed instructions. When I talk about programmed instructions, majorly used for handling customers, that how you need to handle customers, because when we talk about sales, customer service team, they already have boundaries, how much they can answer, how much they cannot. So you have a program instruction given to them that this is how you can, handle a customer. These are the step-by-step thing which you can offer. For example, if you call, I'm sure you all would have called Vodafone, Airtel, Jio, that I'm not getting my network. Can you please help? And you would have got irated. Or your internet connection Wi-Fi service provider, that would happen once in a lockdown, sure. Because they to go sometime for sure. I have gone with it. So when you call them like, what is happening? And you get irritated that it happens all the time. I want to disconnect. Especially when you give them this, I want to disconnect. They will give you another offer. But until you don't say that you want to disconnect, they will not say what the offer. Right? That is a programmed instruction given to them. When do you have to give the offer to the client? and how much offer you have to give. Depending on the customer has one connection, and depending the customer is personal or a corporate one. So I have a corporate number and you have a personal number. Like I have two phones, two numbers, okay? So with my two phones, one is on a personal way, one is on the corporate way. My personal phone number will not get that deal what I will get with the corporate number. That's how program instruction would also be provided. Same goes when they, when we have to use our phones or our laptops. We are trained as a program instruction, how to start. We were trained during school, right? How to start the full app computer, how to click on shutdown, how to open a Word document. Now that we are trained, but this is how we started our journey with our computers when we were very, very young. This is all programmed instructions. Any doubts with methods of training? Any questions?